What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Icing the Puck. We are in the heat of the first round, baby. Things are getting crazy. Got two teams already out, and a bunch of teams just clawing and fighting each other. Specifically, my team right now, but we're gonna save that one for a little later. J-Man, how you doing? You can't be bad in times like
Dude, I'm
this.
doing great right now. I mean, series sweep for the Avs against the Kings as expected. Overall, great. I mean, can't complain about that at all.
No, you
Pet my
can't.
dog next to me right here. She's hanging out.
You literally can't be in a bad mood in this time of year. You got something great to watch every
Yeah,
day. Every day.
exactly. Now I get to sit back and relax for another couple, few days until
Yeah,
like
you
next week and just watch hockey. Like no
get to enjoy
stress.
the other series. Yeah,
Yep.
meanwhile, I need to get a therapist. I'm feeling very stressed. But I don't want to talk about that one. Like I said, we're going to save that one. It keeps lingering every episode, but it's how it goes. We need to talk about these sweeps. Y'all, you already know we jump into it every episode. We got to get to this. So much to talk about here in the playoffs. Let's start with your Avs. Like we just said, they sweep the LA Kings. The overall consensus for a couple weeks now has been that they would sweep the LA Kings. I don't think anybody thought any different, maybe in five. I think the only people who thought different were Kings fans, and then even then I think it was split in half.
My statement in our last episode stands. That first game, actually, I'll modify it a little bit. Their best game was definitely like the second game. And then after that, even their best game couldn't win it for them.
No.
Overtime, there's no shootout afterwards, wasn't for them. So as soon as when it was stayed on 5-on-5, you knew it was over for them. So
Yeah, and we're going to talk, I guess it might sound bad about the Kings, but I mean, they lost, they got swept. There's really not much good to say. But the one silver lining for this team I'm going to throw in there is shout out Anton Forsberg, who really stepped it up for this team. He was the only reason I think the LA Kings were able to stay in this series and keep the Avs to a
absolutely.
maximum of 5 goals one game is the max they scored, or 4?
Yeah, it was the last game. Yeah, five goals.
Five in the last game, yeah. But even then, the last game, you could tell the Kings were gassed. I know it's going to drive you nuts. You've probably heard enough about it, but we got to throw it in there. Congratulations to Anze Kopitar on his last game in the NHL. We could read the text exchange.
You're talking about my forced hatred of Kopitar because it was
this guy was mad that he texted me during the game. He's like, bro, they won't shut up about Anze Kopitar. I'm so
honestly,
sick
it wasn't
of
even
this.
it wasn't even the Kopitar. It was Jude. They were just constantly talking about the Kings. Like, not even just Kopitar. Like that would have been like fine, but it was like all the Kings. All they were talking about was how good some of the Kings players were playing and stuff like that. It's like cool, not good enough though.
It was the last time they'll ever talk about the Kings this year, so they had to get it all out. A little strange, but
yeah, and then it's like as soon as the series is over, no, I don't actually hate Kopitar. He's actually a great dude.
Shout out to Anze Kopitar, man. I mean, long career. Truly one of the best to ever do it. I'd say one of the best captains in NHL history. 2-time Cup winner. This guy is like LA King himself, the LA King. So definitely that fella's getting a statue outside of the. Is it Staples Center still? Or is it
No,
Crypto
it's
Arena?
Crypto.com Arena.
Crypto.com Arena. Yeah, I remember Staples Center my whole life.
It used to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep getting distracted. I got hockey going on.
No, you're good. Yeah, I'm trying to not watch the game myself. But no, the Avs, I mean, hell of a performance and really riding on wins that weren't even carried by their best guys.
Well, and I'll say this, and this kind of goes to talk about with like, Anton Forsberg or stuff like that with like, this was the series of, I mean, guys who had been career backup goalies getting the start and, and carrying it. I mean, doing really well. 100%, like he was their best player.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, and then Scott Wedgwood did awesome. He got his first playoff start. He's, undefeated in the playoffs so far. I mean, what more can you hope for? I mean, Avs now have extra time to rest, give everybody a little bit of a break, get more practice in and stuff like that. So
yeah, they're definitely going to need it because this may have been a little bit of a cakewalk, a Fruit Loop swirl, but it's about to get into a full-blown, well-done steak in the next series. That's for sure. Whoever
I don't know.
Play.
I mean, this the next series, yeah, with the Wild and the Stars here. This is going to 7, and that's the perfect thing for Colorado because they're going to beat each other up. Whatever team is coming out of this is going to the round 2 beat up.
Yeah, but
I mean,
I think we just get out of the way, talk about both of our teams. One thing I want to say before we get off of the Colorado LA series, my MVP for this series, I hope more people talk about this, is Arturi Lehkonen. I swear that dude gave everything he had this series, blocking shots, killing penalties, scoring on the power play, scoring 5-on-5. I
scoring
mean,
shorthanded.
shorthand, yeah. I mean, Arturi Lehkonen, hell of a performance. I think a guy that gets overshadowed really hard on the Avs. I mean, he has 25 goals plus every year, no matter
Yeah.
what. I mean, hell of a player. So,
I mean, he gets overshadowed because he plays on the top line with McKinnon, all that. But it's like, it's a guy that not everybody, like, not a lot of people think about as a top player, but they put him up there because he can keep up and he can play with them at that level. And it's, yeah, extremely underrated player.
in
I
my
mean, he's
opinion,
just
best
like,
player that the Avs have ever traded for, maybe in their history. Maybe. He
I
has
mean,
made such an impact since they traded for him in
yeah, I
2022.
mean, yeah, I think he had the game-winning goal for when they won the cup.
I think he did. Correct us if we're wrong. But
It was game 5 or something like that, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it was
But
game
yeah,
5.
we can move on here. My Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild. And one thing I'm gonna say is this is a series where I don't have too many gripes. I'm not really disappointed in my team. My team isn't playing bad by any means. These teams are both just playing with everything they have. And
Yeah.
this was very much expected from everybody. I think everybody knew this would be the closest series of them all. In my opinion, the most evenly matched teams in the playoffs. For once, we're not going to get in a conversation about the playoff format. And we're just going to talk about how these teams line up super well. And, a lot of guys really playing their best. The Stars have had injuries all year. Rope Hintz still isn't back, obviously, doing what they can without a couple guys. But,
Yeah.
just like we were talking about in the Colorado LA series, you see some guys, towards the bottom of the lineup stepping up and giving it all they got. I mean, guys like Blackwell, Steele, Fox. I mean, I go on and on and on. Niels Lundqvist, before he got hurt, I mean, I couldn't believe he was playing as well as he was. He's had kind of a rough time in Dallas. Minnesota, Michael McCarron, that 6'7", 6'8" guy. I mean, I'm terrified of him. He has a hell of a shot. He's killing it. Bobby Brink, what a trade acquisition from them. And then, of course, Minnesota, Quinn Hughes, Brock Faber. They just seem to be Dallas's kryptonite. I don't know how we're going to stop those two. It's been rough. But Jake Ottinger obviously started off real sloppy in game 1, cleaned up his act since, and I could not be more happy. I mean, he has played very, very well, but this series, just every game is a slobber knocker, man. Got a very extended vocabulary tonight.
Okay. I
Fruit
mean,
Loop, slobber knocker.
you knew, like, going into this series, this was going to be like a slugfest. Like, these guys were going to just beat the hell out of each other, and they have. And not just physicality, like just the back and forth pace of the play. I mean, these games were nonstop. I swear these games, even though they went to overtime was like game 2, they went to like double overtime.
Yeah, and then this
whatever.
most recent, they went to overtime.
Yeah. Even though they've gone to overtime and stuff like that, these games have gone really fast because they're just constantly back and forth and back. Like I wasn't joking. I think I sent you the thing that's like that last game that they just played and went to overtime. Like that overtime period was just cinema.
Intense.
I mean, it was just nonstop and it was awesome. Like that's the best part of playoff hockey is when you get those kind of games. I mean, they say that, a lot of people talk about like, obviously, as a fan, you want it to not be a close game. You want your team to just run away with it. But some of the most entertaining games to watch when you're not, you have no stake in either team is those back and forth, like super close games. Those are so good. I mean,
both teams, like because of the fast-paced play, have caused each other to take so many penalties. I mean, the series, I feel like, is just power play after power play. It seems like whoever's going to get the power play is who's going to win. I mean, that's kind of how it's gone. Wyatt Johnston winning in double OT on the power play. I believe Matt Boldy scored that game winner on a power play in overtime in this most recent one.
Yeah. I mean, you have two teams that have both one of the best penalty kills and power plays. Like, I mean, they're like right there up at the top, in the top of the league. And I mean, it goes to show. I mean, they really are just like, it's crazy how, I mean, the back and forth on even the power play when they're shorthanded, like these guys are pushing, like they're pushing even when they're shorthanded on either team. It's crazy. Yeah, this has been it's been a crazy series so far. Honestly, in my opinion, very, very similar to the Tampa and Montreal series.
Yeah,
I think that's the other one that's right now. I mean,
Yeah, and for once, you know, like with this Dallas Minnesota series, obviously I want Dallas to win. Like, why would I not? But like, I don't know. I think, and trying to understand where I'm coming from with this, if Dallas loses this series, I won't be as beat up because it's like we had to literally play a Stanley Cup in round one. Like, what did people expect of us? You know, like, I really do think these two teams are exactly even all across the board.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, they're very evenly matched. I
yeah,
mean, they have been all season. I mean, Minnesota definitely started off a little bit slower, and then towards the end of the season, I mean, these teams were, there was a while there where they were within a couple points of each other, and then
yeah,
I think they flipped a couple times, didn't
yeah,
they?
they did. They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is, like you said, it's peak cinema. It's been nuts. I mean, it's gonna stay crazy. I fully anticipated going to 7, unless somebody just runs away with it and gets it in 6 here. But I mean, hey, you know, game 5 in Dallas tomorrow. Let's go. I'm really hoping Dallas can pull away with that one, even though
Yeah.
we've played better in Minnesota. So
Yeah.
we'll
It's
see.
back-to-back years of the Stanley Cup in the first round for Dallas.
Yeah.
Swear.
Yep. And we'll never make it to the cup because of that. So
I
I
tell you,
can't.
dude, I think I said it the other day to you too. It's just like just an absolute massacre, just like all out brawl in the Central Division, and then you go out to the Western Conference or the
Pacific, yeah.
Division, and it's just like
Anaheim putting up 7 goals,
yeah, it's just
winning
like
on a controversial
just like hanging
goal.
out. Yeah, honestly, I don't even think it's that controversial. I don't. I mean,
Do we want to jump into that series?
yeah, let's talk about that series real quick.
Let's just talk about the goal. What do you think?
I mean, it was a goal.
It was
a goal.
110% a goal.
The issue, so here's the thing though. I've seen a lot of people not have an issue with the fact that it was called, like that it was a goal after review, because it was a goal. I mean, there's no, the puck crossed the line. A lot of people have an issue with the fact that it was called a good goal on the ice, which then changed what the requirements were for the review process.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are forgetting that this wasn't a challenge. It was a review.
It was a review. Exactly.
If it was a challenge, the call on the ice absolutely 100% matters a lot more. This is a review. They were just making sure that they got it right. They weren't making sure that they weren't like looking for it being wrong. They were just like, yep, that, that's over the line. I mean, it was very obvious. Like when you go back and look at it, it was very obviously a goal. The issue people had was like the refs called it a goal on the ice. Nobody had a good view on it. That's true. And I get a little bit there, but also they review all of those goals in overtime like that and all of this stuff. I mean, for the last the last 10 minutes of every game and overtime, every goal is automatically reviewed like as soon as it happens. I mean, they're over there, and if they see any little inclination of it being challengeable or whatever, they'll delay a little bit to see if anybody else wants to challenge it or whatever. They'll review it and overturn it if needed. I mean, it's not like it was some, it was
a clear-cut goal. I mean, it crossed the line. Jari didn't secure the puck. And I think there's some people fighting online, too, that Jari's skate secured the puck for a split second or something before it slid in there, and the whistle wasn't blown or whatnot.
Yeah, but I mean, if they had stopped the puck on the goal line, right, and it was stopped by his skate, it was the fact that it had crossed over completely.
Yeah.
The people were saying that, it was actually stopped before then, and it moved after it was secured, but then they hit it back out of the net as well. It's like, I mean, obviously it wasn't secured because it then moved more, or it moved, it's the same thing as happens. Like if you catch it in your glove and you put your glove behind the goal line, it's still a goal.
Yeah. 100%.
Like that's that's happened.
I don't know. Like I understood the controversy, but and if we're being real, it's mostly just Edmonton fans groaning online that they got screwed by the league or something, which y'all just make me so sick every time I get in front of this mic. Edmonton fans.
I can't wait to not have to talk about Oilers after this week.
I'm not saying,
stop.
Don't jinx it. I'm not saying anything because they always find a way, and it just drives me. I swear, dude. You know what the worst outcome could be for me personally? The absolute worst outcome is the Stars somehow find a way to beat Minnesota and Colorado,
and then they have to
play Edmonton. That would literally be the worst thing that could happen. Like, because Connor Ingram is going to turn into Patrick Waugh and just destroy Dallas.
No, dude, it's Jari right now, bro. Jari's got the net.
Not for long. Soon they're going to call up Calvin Pickard. All right, it's going to be something. I don't know. I can't stand this team. But now this series, I mean, just how we thought. I told y'all if you're going to watch the series and you're a betting man, bet the over every game. Super high scoring. Anaheim won by 7 the other night. They won by 4 last night. Just how it goes, man. Yeah, I'm very impressed with the Ducks. The Ducks, and I've loved this team all year, dude. I've loved Anaheim. I think their roster is so fun. I love the mix of veterans and young guys. How about Jackson Lacombe, dude? This kid's sick. He's disgusting. The things he's able to do to Connor McDavid. The blocked shots, pinning him down. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I
there's
mean, I
not
feel
many
like
guys who
they
can keep
have
up with him.
been defending Connor McDavid so well. Like, it's crazy. It just goes to show, like, if he can be locked down, I mean,
Just
it
gotta
happens.
throw this in there for all those people saying, "But McDavid's hurt. McDavid's hurt. It's the only reason." How about you just give the Ducks some credit, dude? Just give the Ducks some damn credit for what they're doing. Nobody wants to give the Ducks credit. I saw this post today that Connor McDavid is a LA Kings first round merchant. That's the only reason he's had success. He doesn't play the Kings. Look what happens. But
I said that.
did you say that the other week?
I said that to you.
I saw
yeah.
that in a video today.
I said it to you. I think
That's
I texted
hilarious.
you. I texted you
I
that
think you
too. I
did.
was like, yeah. As soon as McDavid doesn't have to play the Kings, he just
He
forgets
gives up.
forgets how to play hockey.
Yeah, people are saying McDavid and Draisaitl are hurt. That's why the Oilers are. It's like, dude, the Oilers just suck. They're
If your entire
trash.
team
Like,
relies on those two players, you shouldn't be in the playoffs anyway.
yeah. So I don't know, man. Like, honestly, I think the Ducks are going to win this one. I think maybe the Oilers get one more win. They always hang in there. Like I said, I think the Ducks just close it out next time they get back home. I think that's what's going to happen.
I think that Edmonton is running into a team that they can't like outscore their problems on. Just because the Ducks have been just shutting down so much like defensive. Like these teams, like don't get me wrong, both of them have really good offenses, but this is the series where it's actually, no matter how high scoring it is, the defense is what's going to win this series because Anaheim has just got the edge right now on the defensive side
and momentum.
They've got the
momentum.
goaltending. They've got the goaltending edge, which is a big one for. It's been questionable all year for the Oilers, and their defensemen have just been able to control their top, Edmonton's top players, regardless of if they're hurt or not. They're still shutting them down. Those guys still aren't doing anything.
Yeah, Edmonton.
Other teams might not have done that.
Edmonton can't get bailed out by their best players again this year.
Yeah.
And
but still, give Anaheim credit for the fact that they are keeping everybody shut down right now. I mean,
for sure.
Even though, like I said, the goals are coming. Like this is such a high-scoring series, but that's just how these teams play. But even though there's a ton of goals going in, there's a ton of goals not going in. These goals, this could be like double digits on both sides kind of teams.
Yeah, once again, that's the defensive edge of Anaheim. Like, the amount of times they've shut down Oilers breakaways, and there's been a good amount of them, and they've been able to close them out, box them in. Like that's how they've been playing. And I mean, honestly, they might have game planned the best for their opponent here in the first round. They know what they're doing. That's why they're up 3-1. But
dude, I saw a wild stat, and I was like, "There's no way this could be true." I haven't fact checked it, but I saw a thing, and I saw it multiple places, which is why I don't necessarily know if, I'm kind of gonna take it as it's, at its face value or whatever. Apparently the Avs in the series against LA only gave up one odd man rush.
Wow.
Which I don't feel like that's true, but like can't remember a lot of them, which is like,
I mean, the Kings don't get very many odd man rushes, but
just the way that they play. But still, it's like Colorado has that happen a lot because they have very active defensemen.
Yeah.
As sometimes that happens, but I don't know. Sorry, that was you mentioned that with Anaheim, and it reminded me of that. I thought that was kind of wild, but spoiler, wild.
I want to move. Yeah, that's enough. Let's move on east. Let's talk about this other shutout, this other sweep. Carolina sweeping Ottawa. This one, I honestly part of me wanted to believe the Senators were going to show up a little more in the playoffs. I thought this might have gone to 6 at most. I thought Ottawa would play a little better at home, but the story of this series is Ottawa just can't score goals. Yeah, they just can't. Their offense was abysmal for 4 games straight, and there's no home advantage. I feel like their crowd really wasn't in it, and their top guys just weren't doing much of anything.
Yeah, I mean, crazy enough, like with kind of how this year has been and how hit or miss throughout the season he's been, I think that was their best player
Yeah,
in
a
this
hundred
series.
percent, 100%.
And if he's your best player and he's been kind of hit or miss and kind of back and forth this entire season, like you were in trouble. I mean, that
Yeah,
was from the start. I mean, I think that opening face-off fight that was the determining factor right there. As soon as Brady Tkachuk, fought Jordan Staal, who is not a known fighter, not really a big fighter or whatever, and lost, like Brady Tkachuk fights a lot of people.
yeah.
Yeah, that was not good. I think that was like the beginning of the end for them for that off the face
Well,
off.
also, where was your best player, Tim Stützle, who I love? I think he's one of the best young players in the league. I think he only had, what, 2 or 3 points the whole series? Like,
Yeah. I
Jake
mean, and
Sanderson playing 30-plus minutes a night, not really doing much. I mean, he's doing all he can. Like, I honestly think, like, there's got to be some change in Ottawa. I don't know what it's gonna be, but they're kind of like they're like a better version of the Leafs, if that makes sense. I feel like this team, like they play for each other, but some guys just aren't giving it all they can. Like
yeah, I mean, I saw some stuff after the series wrapped up of people saying that maybe this is the sign to trade Kachuk and
yeah,
stuff like that. I don't know. He definitely was one of the guys that was noticeably absent
yeah,
in the series, and he, say what you will about him. I mean, he's not the greatest, most skilled player, in the league. Um, but he makes plays when he needs to in those
yeah,
moments, and
yeah,
this was not happening. And that goes, I mean, it is partially because Carolina shut everybody down. I
a
mean,
hundred
Carolina
percent.
played a really, really, really good defensive game, but I also think that they matched up really, really well against Ottawa.
Yeah,
I don't think Ottawa really stood it. I don't think Ottawa stood a chance. I wasn't surprised by the sweep. I think that there wasn't really that much of a struggle for Carolina. I mean, other than the overtime game where, that what was that, game 2 or game 3? I think that was game 2
yeah,
with the overtime and the,
yeah. The double overtime.
the called
That
off
was good.
goal and all that stuff, whatever. Yeah, that was their kind of closest call right there.
But once again, that's like they had to go to double overtime just to like, go toe to toe with Carolina. And that's not a
Exactly.
good sign either. And like this game, you could also like this series, you could also chalk up to coaching because we talked about the choice for Freddie Anderson. The line pairings were a little different than what Carolina usually does, but they worked. And yeah, Logan Stankoven pop off. And like he's the MVP of the series, like the bane of Ottawa right there. But yeah, I mean,
Pittsburgh's about to win.
oh, what's the score? Do they score again?
It's 3-2 right now. Philly empty net.
Yeah.
40 seconds left. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised by the sweep by Carolina. I do think though that it's in a kind of weird roundabout way. Like obviously it's good for them to have the extra time off or whatever. But I think that they might run into a little bit of trouble depending on who they get in the second round because they might not be like in the playoff mindset 100% yet. Like,
Well,
they
yeah,
haven't
I
had
mean,
this, they haven't
well,
had any like real pushback yet. So they better study up and
we'll
get
see how
prepared.
Carolina responds because I personally think they have the easiest path to the cup. Obviously, playing Ottawa and, let's be honest, Philly and Pittsburgh aren't at the same level that Carolina is. But the only thing that could benefit which either of those teams that go play Carolina is if, like you said, if Carolina is caught maybe being a little lackadaisical, like
Yeah, I
we'll
mean,
see
and
how they mentally prepare
what
for the
I
next
mean by
series.
that is not saying one way or the other, but depending on who wins between Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, like I think they'll have a harder time against Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia will come out like swinging
Yeah, I
and kind
agree.
of put a little kind of like shock and awe a little bit kind of thing on Carolina a little bit because they're the way that Philly's offense has been operating lately. Obviously, they're about to lose this game to the Penguins potentially, and that series is going to be extended. But again, I mean, I definitely think it's winnable for Carolina regardless of who they play.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
I don't think that one's the second round is obviously not going to be as easy for them. But I mean, they did a good job closing out the series early, so they have again rest time. But man, it is an easy path over there in that Eastern Conference.
Specifically in this route for the Carolina series here, like the series they're going to play. I mean, they're playing teams that are way less talented than them, if we're being honest. And then who knows, though, the Cup final might be really tough for Carolina, depending on who they play. We get a little bit into that. We go to...
They ain't making it out of the conference final.
Whoa. No, that's sorry. That's what I meant, the conference final. My bad. I didn't mean to say Cup final. I don't want to just assume Canes, but let's keep it in the East here for now. Sabres Bruins. This series was intense, and then Buffalo just turned the engines on, man. They said, nope, and I think really, like, I don't want to spend a bunch of time on this one. It's been a fun series, but I think Buffalo finally realized, we're better than Boston. Simple as that. We're better than them. We've been better than them all year. We could beat these guys. Let's show that we can beat them,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was skeptical at first, obviously. And then, the back and forth of, the first couple games or whatever here. And then, that last game, Buffalo figured it out. They unlocked the code. And I mean, that was an embarrassing game.
Yeah, for Boston. So bad.
I mean,
did not look like a playoff team at all.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if they could, I would have said just call it early, just give up on the game.
I mean, that's essentially what McAvoy said in the post-game presser. He said, we have to be embarrassed for playing like that. I mean, you gotta think
he's like, if we're not embarrassed by that game and that the way we played there, like that would be ridiculous.
And now the real question is, does that light a fire under Boston? Like, can they get themselves back in this series after, such a down loss?
Dude, I don't know. I don't think so.
Going back to Buffalo, like...
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that they have it in them. I think that Buffalo has kind of exposed the flaws that Boston has had all year. They just don't have any, they've got guys like McAvoy, they've got Pastrnak, stuff like that, but
they're top heavy. They're top heavy with the scoring.
I mean, yeah, but I don't think those guys are, they're just not enough. I mean, they don't have the, and that they lost that a lot with, some of the guys that they lost in the past couple of years, since 23 when they had the winning record and stuff like that. And,
obviously, the old Bruin heads, are out, but
yeah, they lost the guys who are like the grit of the team a little bit. They're a little too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're top heavy. I mean, they have McAvoy, they have Pasta, Geeky, and Pavel Zacha, and that's about all you got there for your main scorers. And then you go down the line, you have good players, but it's not guys who necessarily make a huge impact on the stat sheet every night. So
yeah,
and Swayman, obviously Swayman is the big name, but Swayman got pulled, and was that the right decision? I mean,
I honestly don't think that was on him.
I don't think so either.
His defense was doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, the team was doing nothing.
Yeah, I 100%.
He had some choice words for.
I don't blame him for yelling at them on the bench.
Yeah.
I don't actually think he said anything bad. I think he was like,
get it together. Essentially,
I think he was giving them like words of encouragement or something like that. I think he was saying, like yelling at him as in like trying to like get them going, like get them,
at least
mad
keep
and motivated.
Your pride. At least keep your pride.
Yeah, stuff like. I think it was more something like that than like being mad at them for whatever. Although he justifiably could have been mad because they left him high and dry. I mean, he was just.
If we're talking goalies as well, we talked about Wedgwood and Forsberg, backup goalies getting their starts. Let's talk about Buffalo's decision to move on to Alex Lyon these past two games, which has really panned out for them. I mean, Alex Lyon statistically was their best goalie all year. I understand why they went with UPL to start the series. Like, he's kind of the guy who's been their starter for the past couple of years, but he's been hurt a good amount this year. So get your best guy in there. I love it. This is what you need to do in the playoffs. You have to have your best guys playing, and Alex Lyon has been their best guy now. I mean, only allowing one goal, helping his team to get these wins. So.
Yeah, and in the same sense of like with Colorado, they've said, they started Wedgwood over Blackwood, where Blackwood is like pretty much considered the starter. They have had a chance this year where they can go back and forth and have a, 1A, 1B or, 1A, 1B kind of setup. But in Buffalo, it's like, you got to go with the guy who can get it done and who, at the end of the day, even if you bench your one goalie who is your starter, it's about winning the cup. It's not about your feelings on, if you feel like you've been slighted or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like you still win a cup if you're on the team. Obviously, yeah, you want to be the one to be on the ice when you win it, but would you rather be on the ice and lose or sit on the bench and win?
Yeah.
So, it's that kind of thing. It's like it probably was a coaching decision in the sense of, I don't think that UPL was playing bad. They just wanted to, they lost that one game. They wanted to switch it up to see if it made a difference, and it has. I mean, and like I said, I don't think Boston has what it takes to come back in this series. But yeah, Buffalo, I was wrong. I was wrong about you, Buffalo, but we'll see what happens in the second round. I think it's, when they play a stronger team than Boston, that's where we'll see the cracks start to form a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
And they should be worried about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I don't know who they're going to play next. It's about a coin flip.
It's crazy, honestly.
At this point.
I went into this, playoffs thinking that Tampa was going to not steamroll Montreal, but I thought that they were going to be, maybe like, honestly close to what it is, like maybe a 6-game series or whatever. But I didn't expect the games to be this close.
See, I was the opposite of you. I kind of expected this, how it is now. I mean, it's so, I don't understand, okay? I feel like I talked to a lot of people about the Canadians, and really what I'm kind of discovering is there's just a lot of haters, dude. Like, people love to hate Montreal for some reason. This team is absolutely loaded. Like, I genuinely, and you could take my word.
I like the players. I like the team. I don't like their Montreal, and I don't like Montreal.
I like Montreal. Montreal is officially my new Canadian team.
Overrated stadium. Everyone loves their stadium. Overrated.
Up. You're so annoying, dude.
If I wanted to go to a carnival, I'd go to a carnival. Stop your stupid carnival music, dude. I hate it. Their lighting sucks. It's terrible.
Best playoff atmosphere in the entire league.
No, the fans, cool. That's fine. Fans are into it. Their stadium, terrible.
Whatever, dude. Montreal fans don't listen to Jordan.
I feel like there's a yellow filter over everything when I'm watching the games.
I'm standing up for
terrible.
You. What? I'm sick and tired of this, man. Montreal, I'm going to say it right now. It's not because you're saying all this. I was about to say it before you rudely interrupted me. But I'm going to say it. Montreal could go to the Cup. They could go to the Cup 100. Yeah, they could 100%. And I'm going to laugh when they do. I'm going to laugh at you. I'm going to laugh at Sam. Me and Sam talked about this the other day. I'm going to laugh when they make it because you know what? They could make it and they could lose to Colorado in 5, but they could make it. All right. And I don't know. I love this team. I think the young talent is like levels above the only team that has anything close to them is San Jose, in my opinion, with the core, but Montreal has other pieces that just help them win. I love Marty St. Louis. What an amazing coach. I think they could close this series out, personally. I mean, it's going to go to 7, and like you said, it's kind of like the Dallas-Minnesota series of the East. But yeah, I mean, Montreal is incredible. I think they have a lot of fight. They have a lot of heart. Both teams definitely lack a little bit defensively, obviously, and they can't stop hitting each other and beating each other up, so that's kind of causing a lot. Yeah, this one's loaded with it. But this is also a goaltending matchup. I mean, 2 goalies who are playing their heart out, truly. And I mean, that's the hump. Montreal needs to overcome Vasilevsky because the Tampa defense, if we're being honest, it hasn't been that good all year. It's still not that good, but they have a lot of guys who have won cups. So that's what kind of gives them the edge here. God, Nikita Kucherov, it seemed like the beginning, he had a bit of a slow start. Everybody's like, when is he going to wake up? And man, did he wake up this last game. He took that hit and he took it personal, man. He got right back up and he was like,
I will say that, in my mind, that hit, I think that was a bit of a dive.
A little. He definitely slid into the boards.
Okay, let me say that it wasn't a dive. Like, he did fall and like he fell and slid and like that. I don't think that part was intentional, but he definitely played like he was definitely pulling a soccer player move of rolling around on the ground. Like, I'm so hurt, and then got right back up and played. He didn't miss a shift. He didn't miss a single shift.
No, he didn't.
He was down for like 30 seconds, 40 seconds, rolling around, like flexing his leg.
Did they get a penalty? Like, did they get a power play from that hit?
Yeah, cross-checking. I mean, it
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
cross-check.
Yeah,
It was a cross-check.
Evans with the
I mean,
cross check. Yeah, that was
yeah,
funny.
it was a cross-check. But again, I think the reaction to it was way oversold to try and get
it got them the power play.
it got a 5-minute major that was reviewed and then bumped down to a minor penalty. But
yeah,
it's a bit of a sell on the how hurt he was from the play. But still, Kucherov, still a guy just elite like IQ when it comes to making plays.
Yeah.
I love the thing where he's like, just shoot it at the net. He's like, Hagel's down there somewhere. It'll happen.
Brandon Hagel is crazy, dude. Like, honestly, at Conn Smythe level of performance right now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Tampa,
he doesn't even need a stick to score goals.
No.
He's just like, I'm going to use my body to deflect these pucks into the net.
Dude, Tampa, the stars are shining. Like, I think both these teams, what I love watching is, like, their best players are truly their best players this series. Like, they're carrying the load, and it's so fun to watch, dude. Like, I would honestly argue, like, yeah, Dallas, Minnesota has been, like, electric, but this might be the most fun series to watch with all the fights and, you know, brawls and then the goals and the crazy OT winners and, like, last-minute goal. Like, this one has been so entertaining, and I mean, hey, like you said, whoever wins this one, Buffalo, you better get ready, boys.
I mean, after this season specifically, and then them meeting in the playoffs, like this is a rivalry, like coming.
Yeah,
right now.
for
like,
sure.
This is, you know,
for sure.
What was it? Their game, one of their games this past season had like the record, like one of the records for the most penalty minutes in a game.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. Then the Montreal coach, Marty St. Louis, is one of the greatest Tampa Bay Lightning players of all time. Like, you know, playing his old, like coaching at his old team, like that's electric.
Yeah. Let me reiterate what I was saying earlier. I really like the players on the Canadians, and I don't mind them as a team. I like the players as a team, as a group together. I don't like the Canadians as an organization, and I don't like their stadium.
We just simply agree to disagree, but that's fine. I don't understand why you have to hate so much.
It's so fun, dude. It's so fun being a hater.
I just don't think there's that much to hate about Montreal. Well, okay, I'll say this. The one thing I don't like about them is how much they boo their own team sometimes. It's kind of wild.
I don't like how French Canadian they are, dude. Their announcers need to lose the accents, bro.
You're listening to the local broadcast?
I know. I'm just talking about like during the regular season. Dude.
Yeah. Let's move on here. We got Pittsburgh, Philly. Game just concluded. Pittsburgh winning 2 in a row. Making something of themselves, dude, here.
All Pittsburgh had to do was get all of their fans to give up, and then they come back and win.
I gotta quote my boy Sam. He just texted us right now. He said, "Not dead yet." No context. He just texted us that. Yeah, not dead yet.
Well, because he was like after Philly went up like 3-0, he's like, it's so over.
He literally was talking to me on the phone this weekend. I was like, so what do you think? He goes, I've honestly given up, dude. I've given up. Like,
I'm telling you, all they have to do, all Pittsburgh fans have to do is just give up on their team, and their team wins, dude. It's
wild.
But then here's what's gonna happen: they're gonna have hope again, and then they're gonna lose, and then they should give up and stay done.
I think next game it's over.
Yeah, imagine it's like, yeah, guys, we won 2 in a row. We can win a third. We'll push it to game 7. Just absolutely, it's going to be.
I think next game is Philadelphia 4-1 is my prediction.
4-1 with 2 empty net goals.
Yeah, it might get ugly. This series has been it started as like punch in the mouth hockey. And then now it's kind of moved to skill-based hockey the past 2 games. You know, they've kind of gone toe to toe. Lots of penalties happening, stuff like that. Not too much good defense anymore. It's kind of just like sloppy goals happening. Like,
I was gonna say, this is definitely going to show like the progress that Philly's offense has made.
Yes,
and just how their young kind of their core guys on their offensive side have been completely underutilized in, you know, when they were where they were before. And this team, when they come together like this, it's crazy. I mean, yeah, I think the Philly is probably the more dangerous team of the 2 right now.
Yeah.
Offensive wise, but what happens when they meet a very, very defensive team if they make it to Carolina? I mean, Carolina is so notoriously hard to score on, regardless of their goaltending situation, because they've had some iffy goaltending.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I mean, because we have so many people, people that we're friends with that are Pittsburgh fans. Of course, I was like, we got to root for Pittsburgh,
Yeah, of course, of course.
but man, Philly.
I know, kind of exciting, kind of exciting. We can't get away
Yeah,
from that fact.
dude, it was funny.
But
It's like, so our friend Sam was like big Pittsburgh guy, his family and stuff like that. They're like hating on the Flyers. They're like, yeah, we hate the Flyers. Like, screw them. Like, nobody likes the Flyers. I go to work. One of my coworkers is a big Flyers fan. Him and his wife, and they're like, we hate Pittsburgh. We hate we hate the Penguins. Like, they suck. I was like, whoa.
It's a big deal over there, man. It's a big deal.
It's crazy.
Like,
the rivalry's
I don't
crazy.
think I ever think about Pennsylvania like once until stuff like this happens. Like, I guess these people really don't like each other.
Yeah.
Like,
what was it like? I keep seeing the clip pop up about like, it was an old interview and Sidney Crosby's talking about the Flyers, and he's like,
I don't like any of them.
I really just don't like any of them. He's like, I don't care who they are. He's like, I just don't like them.
Yeah, good for him, man. I mean, he embraced the spirit of the team he plays for.
Yeah. The last series we're gonna talk about,
Vegas, Utah. It's going on right now. Utah's up 2-1. You know what? One thing I'm gonna start with, and I hope you agree with me on. You hate on Montreal so much, but Utah fans kind of surprising me with how much y'all bring it at these games. Dude, that place is rocking.
Utah fans are passionate.
Yeah.
They don't quite know everything yet. They're a little new. They're a little green. But they got the spirit, which is honestly like 90% of it. Like,
yeah.
That's
and
honestly,
this is go ahead.
I won't just give it to Montreal, dude. I will give it to Utah. I hate their stadium too, bro.
Yeah, have you ever actually been there?
Dude,
I've been there.
I haven't been there, but man,
dude,
I hate that the lighting in their stadium is terrible.
Let me tell y'all something. The pictures you see of the Delta Center, of like how steep it is, it's actually that steep. Like, so I've gone to a couple Jazz games way back when I used to live in Salt Lake City, for those who don't know. Dude, I felt like I was like climbing down a mountain. I thought I was going to die at some point. It's like, I'm all the way at the top, like the nosebleeds, and it's nuts in there. But like, listen, Utah fans, I can't believe I'm saying this, okay? Another hot take here on icing the puck. And for those who, like, maybe we haven't talked about this enough, I was a big Arizona Coyotes guy. I have, like, this sweet soft spot for the Coyotes. I'm going to give you all a little lore, a little fun story here. So, my first ever introduction to the NHL, I had to be about 6 years old, maybe 7 years old. And my cousin was really into hockey. He's about 4 years older than me. So, as a kid, he really loved it. He grew up in Arizona, so I would go visit them. Okay, and he played hockey, he was a goalie, all kinds of stuff, and he played for the junior Coyotes, so I would go watch their games. So the first ever, like, glimpse into hockey I had was the Coyotes logo.
Through a Coyote lens kind of thing.
Yeah, the Kachina, or whatever you call the logo, Kachina, I don't know.
Cochina, yeah.
Yeah, or something like that. But I thought it was so cool, and I thought it looked great. And then, like, whenever the Stars would play the Coyotes throughout the years, I was like, man, Arizona just has the coolest uniforms I think any of us have ever seen. That's why sometimes you'll see me wearing the Coyotes hat that I got. I had to pick one up before.
You get so many questions on that on like TikTok.
I do. People are like, "Oh, you're a Utah fan now." And I'm like,
why the Coyotes hat?
I just love the team. I got one before they closed shop. Like, it's a nice hat, but whatever. The point is, this is my hot take. Utah deserved a hockey team more than Arizona, because this owner, Ryan Smith, and the team, everything about them has been so successful. And then I look at them compared to, like, Seattle, who's done a whole lot of nothing in their existence. And, like, this is a successful rebrand, a successful relocation. Like, winning both of their home games is huge. Like, that is huge, man. I think, just seriously, shout out to Utah. And they've played very, very well. Karel Vejmelka being as good as he's been all season, it's showing right now. I mean, they're holding Vegas to low-scoring games. We'll see how it's going tonight. Vegas is back home. They're currently winning right now. Vegas tends to play better when they're at home, too.
Yeah, I mean, taking, kind of in retrospect, like what we said about Vegas at the beginning of the season to now, like, it's completely wrong. And I will say this, if Utah, even though they're Central, if Utah was a Pacific team, they would 100% be top of that division. If they
Yeah.
had to play all those or the Pacific teams like 4 times every season, they would by far and away be way ahead of everybody else in that division. Vegas has won a game, and it's seems a little tighter than it is. Like, it seems a little bit closer than it is, but I think Utah's going to run away with it now. I think that I think they're a better team right now. And Vegas, they won the division. It was not really like, didn't feel like they won the division. You know what I mean?
I think if any team, whatever team won this division, it wouldn't feel like a true win.
Yeah.
It wouldn't, because we've talked about the Pacific enough. You all know what we're saying. Vegas, I'll give it to them. Like, they have stepped it up with their game as they've.
They
with
do.
John
They put up a
Tortorella,
fight
stuff
every
like that.
game.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. They put up a fight every game. They have turned it around since, the last little bit of the season. But overall, I don't think that was enough to push them over the edge and make it out of the first round. I just don't think the team is there this year.
You know what I keep thinking this series? This is like really, I bet you Vegas fans are thinking about this too, but just Vegas fans. Vegas is really missing an Alex Pietrangelo right now. Out for the whole year. If he's with this team, the power play is so much different. Truly. I mean, like, he's kind of the puck mover on that power play and just the team in general. And yeah, all the star power, they've had a lot of guys not show up too. Like, where's Tomas Hertl? He's been kind of absent. A couple names have been absent, and it's like, where?
Dude, what's his name? Wasn't from the Flames. Anderson was not that much of an ad. Like, I thought he was going to be like a game changer. Like, man,
well, they thought he would be the fill-in for Pietrangelo being hurt.
Dude went to
for
sleep as soon as he got to Vegas. He's like, I'm taking it easy now. He's like, I made it. He's like, I'm chilling.
He's a
now.
free agent after this season. He's about to cash in with, like, I guarantee San Jose would be nuts, dude. Watch him cash in there, bro. But that's for the offseason. But yeah, I mean, no, Vegas has had star guys be absent. I mean, that's why, Utah as a whole, like, up and down the lines, I mean, they're killing it, dude. This team is killing it. The young talent for them is really stepping up. They're very similar to Montreal in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but I do agree with you in the sense of, like, this team has done what they were supposed to do for a relocation, and the atmosphere of the team is awesome. I mean, it is going to be, we talked about it, dude, that the Battle of the Rockies is going to be sick.
We're trying to hit it up this year.
Dude, New Year's Eve.
Catch your boys in Salt Lake.
Outdoor game in the winter.
Catch your boys out in Salt Lake this year. Also, catch your boys in Dallas next year.
More games this year.
Yeah.
More games next season. That's the goal.
That's the goal for sure.
But yeah, I think this series, Vegas got that one win. I think that Utah carries it now. I think they take it away from here. And I think that on paper and just kind of in general, like, Utah is just, they can outlast Vegas and are a better team. And then they get to play Anaheim potentially. And that's going to be a crazy series, but I still think Utah takes it. I still think that they're just a better team right now.
In the good words of the great Lee Corso, not so fast. I think Vegas has an edge in this series. They're a different team when they play at home, like I just said. I don't know, man. I think Vegas.
Yeah, but they split at home. They only won one game.
I know, but I'm saying, like, when they get back home, all right, if they lose this game, it could be different. I can see this almost taking a turn like maybe the Pittsburgh-Philly series is right now. I'm not going to be... Vegas is a team I'm never quick to jump the gun with. They're Vegas for a reason. The league loves them. Gamblers love them. Vegas betting.
I'm actually watching the game right now. I turned it on.
Yeah, I'm about to go watch this game. I think we've yapped enough.
I'm talking about Vegas being that, whatever, they're up 1-0 right now.
That's all I'm saying. But listen, y'all, it's always a pleasure coming to talk to you about all this. The playoffs have been so fun this year. 2 sweeps in the first round. Wow. We had
no sweeps last year.
Yeah, I know. First round, arguably the first round last year was more electric than it was this year. But, we like the variety. Things are always different in the NHL. I like seeing the new teams in this year.
I love that it's different teams this year.
Yeah, me too.
It's interesting in the sense of, like, some of the matchups are not as good, like the games, like the back and forth, whatever. The
see
fact
some of
that
the
there are new
atmospheres
teams
and
absolutely.
stuff. Yeah, it's great.
I think that's way better for hockey than anything.
Than just
it's
the
having
same
different
groups.
teams.
Yeah. But
Yep.
yeah, guys, it's always great coming to you. Check out all the socials. Thank you for all the engagement. Been a little quiet on the socials lately. You know, we're busy guys. We're normal guys. It's just how it goes. You know,
Watching too much hockey.
Yeah, watching too much hockey, not sleeping enough.
Working too much.
Yeah, seriously, trying to get things going. We're trying to make a bunch of money so that we could just do the podcast full time.
Whoa, making some claims over here.
No. But
that'd be sick though. You know what's gonna make us our biggest clip is about to happen, bro. The Montreal clip, when me talking about Montreal, hating on Montreal, bro, it's gonna get so many views. I already know it.
For those who don't know, I run the TikTok, so I have to deal with all the backlash that this guy gets me sometimes, you know, and sometimes I have to, like, you know, it's the fun thing that I do on TikTok is I pretend I'm you.
And are you talking for me?
I like fight. No, but I like, it's me, but I like come at it with your perspective. Like I defend the viewpoint that you said in the clip, and I'll come at people and I'll fight them. And I don't do a very good job at being you. So I'm a little too nice sometimes. But
yeah, bro, certified hater.
Yeah, we need to get you on there. We need to do a TikTok live and just have you like yell at these people. Because I'm not going to lie, this is going to be a controversial thing. Some of you have no clue what you're talking about on TikTok. Yeah. Some of you have no idea.
Yeah.
We know what we're talking about.
I mean, sometimes we say some stupid stuff.
Yeah,
and like
we do.
Sometimes but like, I'll just say stuff like, but man, some of the comments that are on some of these clips are crazy. Insane. And some of the posts that like I'm like looking through like about the NHL and stuff like that. I see some of the comments on there. I'm like, do you even watch the games or do you just like think about it? Like, you just, like,
the amount of people who ask if we watch hockey. Yes, we watch, bro. The real question is do you people watch? I have no clue what some of these people are talking about sometimes.
I'm so good at watching hockey. It's crazy. I'm so much better at watching hockey than everybody else.
Yeah, very true. Very true. All right, y'all, listen. That's it for this episode. We'll see y'all in the next one. Thank you so much for all the engagement. Go follow the socials. Share this to everybody you know. We're out.
See ya.